Aladdin and the Magic Lamp. Once upon a time in a magnificent Arabian kingdom, there lived a poor tailor named Mustafa who had a kind wife, Sabrina, and a spirited son named Aladdin. The boy was 16 years old and loved spending his days playing in the bustling marketplace with his clever pet monkey, Abu, instead of learning his father's trade. One sorrowful morning, Mustafa passed away in his sleep, leaving the family in grief and poverty. Aladdin, feeling the weight of responsibility for the first time, made a solemn promise to his mother. "Mother, I will work at father's shop and earn money for us. Don't worry, I will make you proud." For 3 months, Aladdin kept his word, working hard at the tailor's shop despite his clumsy stitches and imperfect measurements. Slowly, customers returned, and they found a rhythm in their new life. One afternoon, a mysterious stranger dressed in rich purple robes entered the shop. His dark eyes seemed to pierce through Aladdin as he spoke. "You must be Aladdin. I can see your father in your face. I am Maghrib, your father's older brother. I have been traveling in distant lands for over 20 years and only just learned of my dear brother's death." "My uncle?" Aladdin's eyes widened with hope. "Father mentioned you once. He said you left to seek your fortune." "Indeed," Maghrib said with a smooth smile. "And now I have returned to help you, my only family. I know of a hidden treasure in the desert, but ancient magic guards it. Only a pure-hearted youth who has never killed or betrayed can retrieve it. You, Aladdin, are such a boy. Come with me tomorrow, and I will make you rich beyond imagination." That evening, despite Sabrina's concerns, Aladdin convinced her to let him go. "If it's true, mother, we'll never struggle again." At dawn, Aladdin met Maghrib at the city gates, and they journeyed for 5 days through the endless golden dunes. Abu perched on Aladdin's shoulder, chattering nervously. The monkey had never trusted the stranger. Finally, they arrived at 2 massive black mountains separated by a narrow, shadowy valley. "We have arrived," Maghrib announced, trembling with barely contained excitement. "Now, Aladdin, you must do exactly as I say, or you will die." Following the sorcerer's instructions, Aladdin gathered dried wood and branches. Maghrib arranged them carefully, lit the fire, and threw glittering powder into the flames. As he chanted in a strange language, the ground began to shake violently. "What's happening, uncle?" Aladdin cried as a crack split the earth. A massive marble slab rose from the ground, revealing a bronze ring in its center. The trembling stopped, leaving an eerie silence. "Beneath this stone lies your destiny," Maghrib said urgently. "Pull the ring and descend the stairs. You will find a garden with jeweled fruits, but touch nothing, or you will die instantly. Walk through until you reach a terrace with an old lamp. Pour out the oil, bring me the lamp, and the treasure is yours. Take this ring, it will protect you." Maghrib handed Aladdin a brass ring with a green stone. Aladdin slipped it on, then pulled the bronze ring. The heavy stone swung open easily, revealing stairs descending into glowing darkness. Taking a deep breath, Aladdin descended. The stone walls were threaded with veins of gold and silver that pulsed with inner light. At the bottom, he gasped at the magnificent sight before him. Trees made of precious metals bore fruit that glowed like jewels: ruby apples, sapphire grapes, amber oranges, and garnet pomegranates. Fountains bubbled with crystalline water, and mountains of treasure lay everywhere. But Aladdin remembered the warning and touched nothing. After walking for what seemed like hours, he reached a terrace where a tarnished brass lamp sat burning. He poured out the oil, extinguished the flame, and tucked it into his belt. As he turned to leave, his stomach growled fiercely. The journey had left him famished. His eyes fell on a tree laden with glowing red apples. Surely one piece wouldn't hurt? Before rational thought could stop him, Aladdin plucked an apple. It transformed instantly into a perfect ruby. Realizing he wasn't harmed, poverty and desperation took over. He removed his outer robe and filled it with magical fruits, each transforming into precious jewels as he plucked them. "This is enough to make mother and me rich forever," he told Abu, tying the robe into a heavy sack. With the lamp in his belt and jewels over his shoulder, Aladdin climbed the stairs. When he neared the top, Mughrib's face appeared above. "Aladdin! Quickly, pass me the lamp. Help me up first, uncle. This load is so heavy." "The lamp first, boy. Give it to me now. Just help me up, and I'll give you the lamp." Mughrib's face twisted with rage. "Foolish boy. Give me the lamp, or I'll leave you to rot in that hole." "Who are you really?" Aladdin demanded, backing down a step. "Why couldn't you get it yourself?" "I am Mughrib the sorcerer," he screamed. "The ancient magic prevents me from entering. Only one pure of heart can retrieve the lamp. I searched for years to find someone like you, desperate and naive enough to do my bidding. You've outlived your usefulness." The sorcerer threw powder into the fire and chanted dark words. The marble slab began to close. "No! Wait! I'll give you the lamp." Aladdin lunged upward, but the stone crashed down with a thunderous boom, sealing him in complete darkness. "Let me out! Please! Uncle! Someone help me!" Aladdin pounded on the stone until his hands bled, then collapsed in despair, weeping bitterly. Abu huddled against him in the darkness. Hours or perhaps days passed. Eventually, Aladdin's tears dried. As he sat wringing his hands nervously, his fingers brushed the brass ring Mughrib had given him. Light exploded from the ring, and smoke coalesced into a glowing figure, a man made of mist and starlight, about 4 feet tall. "I am the slave of the ring," the figure said. "Whosoever wears the ring is my master. What is your command?" "Take me home to my mother." Aladdin cried. "I hear and obey." The world dissolved, and suddenly Aladdin found himself sitting in his own small house. His mother rushed in, tears streaming down her face as she embraced him. After explaining everything, Aladdin showed her the sack of jewels. "We're rich, mother. We'll never be hungry again." Sabrina examined the tarnished lamp. "Perhaps if I clean this, we can sell it." She began rubbing it with a cloth. Massive clouds of smoke exploded from the lamp, filling the room with impossible colors. A giant figure emerged, its head brushing the ceiling, powerfully built with skin of brass and flame, eyes like the sun. "Who has summoned me?" it thundered. "Who holds the lamp?" Sabrina shrieked and dropped the lamp. Abu fainted. But the genie's voice softened. "Forgive me. It has been long since someone summoned me. I am the merit of the lamp, bound to serve whosoever holds it. You, good woman, are my mistress. What is your command?" Trembling, Sabrina whispered, "We're very hungry. Could you bring us some food?" "A feast," the genie proclaimed, clapping his massive hands. Instantly, a magnificent table appeared laden with roasted lamb, saffron rice, tagines, fresh bread, fruits, pastries, and sweet tea, all served on silver plates with intricate designs. "Will this suffice?" They could only nod in amazement as the genie returned to the lamp. Over the following weeks, they sold the silver plates carefully, claiming they were family heirlooms. They moved to a better home and helped the poor secretly, careful not to draw attention to their newfound wealth. 3 months later, Aladdin was at the marketplace when cries rang out, "Make way for the royal procession. Any man who looks upon Princess Badr al-Budur shall forfeit his head." Curious as always, Aladdin hid behind barrels as the covered sedan chair passed. A breeze lifted the curtain briefly, and he glimpsed the princess, luminous, intelligent, with eyes that held both sadness and longing. In that instant, Aladdin fell hopelessly in love. He returned home in a daze and told his mother, "I saw the princess today. I must marry her." "Are you mad?" Sabrina gasped. She's a princess. If anyone saw you, I cannot rest until she is my wife, mother. Please, go to the Sultan and ask for her hand in marriage. Take the jewel fruits as a gift. After much pleading, Sabrina reluctantly agreed. She wrapped the most beautiful jewels in silk and went to the palace. The guards tried to stop her, but the Sultan, curious about her bundle, allowed her to enter. Your Majesty, I beg your daughter's hand for my son in marriage. The Sultan laughed. It would be insulting for my daughter to marry someone so poor. And what have you brought? Sabrina unwrapped the jewels. The Sultan's eyes widened with greed. I have never seen such treasures. I am impressed. But your son must prove himself worthy. Tell him to send me 40 golden trays filled with similar jewels, carried by 80 slaves in the richest clothing. Sabrina returned home with heavy heart, but Aladdin simply rubbed the lamp. The genie appeared, listened to the request, and instantly created a magnificent procession with golden trays overflowing with jewels and 80 splendidly dressed slaves. Take these to the Sultan, Aladdin instructed his mother. The Sultan was astounded but made another demand. Your son must build a palace worthy of my daughter, one that can be seen from my window, by tomorrow morning. Again, Aladdin called the genie, who built a magnificent palace overnight, complete with a carpet path connecting it to the Sultan's palace. The genie then dressed Aladdin in royal robes and provided a beautiful white horse. Aladdin rode to the palace in splendor. The Sultan, seeing the impossible accomplished, proclaimed, You have proved yourself beyond all expectation. You shall marry my daughter. The wedding celebration lasted for days. Aladdin and Princess Badr al-Budur, who found him kind and gentle, fell deeply in love. The kingdom rejoiced, and Aladdin became famous throughout the land. But news of his sudden wealth reached the sorcerer Maghrib in his distant land. That boy escaped the cave and stole my lamp, he raged. I will have my revenge. Maghrib traveled to Aladdin's kingdom disguised as a humble lamp seller, carrying a tray of shiny new lamps. He waited until Aladdin was away hunting, then walked beneath the palace windows. New lamps for old. A wonderful trade. New lamps for old. Princess Badr al-Budur, knowing nothing of the lamp's power, saw the tarnished old lamp Aladdin kept on a shelf. What a wonderful surprise for my husband, she thought. I'll get him a shiny new lamp. She called down to the merchant and made the trade. The moment Maghrib held the magic lamp, he rushed to a secluded spot and rubbed it furiously. The genie appeared before him. Master, what is your command? Transport this entire palace, with the princess inside, to the farthest desert where no one can find us. I hear and obey. With a tremendous whoosh, the palace vanished. When the Sultan looked out his window and saw empty ground where Aladdin's palace had stood, he roared with fury. Guards! Bring Aladdin to me immediately. Aladdin was dragged before the Sultan in chains. You used magic trickery to deceive me, the Sultan shouted. You have stolen my daughter. Bring her back within 4 days, or you will be executed. I swear I will find her, Your Majesty. Please, give me this chance. Released but desperate, Aladdin searched the entire kingdom for 3 days but found nothing. On the 4th day, exhausted and hopeless, he sat by a stream and wrung his hands in despair. As his fingers twisted together, he accidentally rubbed the brass ring still on his finger. The ring genie appeared. Master, what is your command? Take me to my wife. Take me to the princess. I cannot undo what the lamp genie has done, but I can take you to where she is. Instantly, Aladdin found himself in a vast desert. In the distance stood his palace, impossibly alone among the dunes. He crept inside carefully and found the princess in her chamber, weeping. Aladdin, she cried, embracing him. A wicked sorcerer brought me here. He keeps asking me to forget you and marry him, but I refuse. I know, my love. He is the false uncle who betrayed me. But I have a plan. Aladdin pulled a small vial from his pocket, a sleeping potion he had acquired from an apothecary. Tonight, when he comes to dine with you, slip this into his wine. When he falls asleep, I will retrieve the lamp. That evening, the princess pretended to smile at Mughrib for the first time. Perhaps I have been too harsh, Master Mughrib, she said sweetly. Will you dine with me tonight? The sorcerer's face lit up with greedy joy. Of course, my dear princess. I knew you would see reason. At dinner, the princess poured wine into golden goblets, adding the sleeping potion to Mughrib's cup. Let us drink to new beginnings, she said. To new beginnings. Mughrib drained his cup in one gulp. Within moments, his eyes grew heavy. Everything looks so dark. He slumped forward onto the table, unconscious. Aladdin emerged from behind the curtains and quickly searched the sorcerer's robes, finding the lamp tucked in an inner pocket. He rubbed it urgently. The genie appeared. Master, you have returned to me. Yes, my faithful friend. Take this palace, the princess, and me back to the Sultan's kingdom immediately. Leave this wicked sorcerer in the deepest part of the desert where he can never find his way out. With pleasure, master. The genie clapped his mighty hands. The palace whooshed through space, leaving Mughrib sleeping in the sand hundreds of miles from any civilization. When the Sultan looked out his window the next morning, he saw Aladdin's palace had returned. He rushed to embrace his daughter, weeping with joy. You have saved her, the Sultan proclaimed. You have shown incredible bravery and devotion. Aladdin, I hereby name you Crown Prince and my heir. A grand coronation ceremony was held. Aladdin, now wearing a crown, stood beside Princess Badr al-Budur, who gazed at him with love and pride. His mother wept tears of joy. Even Abu wore a tiny turban for the occasion. Years passed in peace and prosperity. Aladdin ruled wisely, always remembering his humble beginnings. He used the lamp sparingly and only to help those in need. He built schools for poor children, hospitals for the sick, and ensured no one in his kingdom went hungry. And though he possessed a magic lamp capable of granting almost any wish, Aladdin learned that his greatest treasures were the love of his wife, the respect of his people, and the wisdom he had gained from his extraordinary journey. They all lived happily ever after.